Please recite a Surah Fatiha for the Shuhada of Islam and for all of your marhumeen. Surah Al-Fatiha. Hasbunallahu ni'mal wakil, ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. A'udhu billahi minash shaitan al-la'in al-rajim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu wa salam ala ashraf al-anbiya wal mursaleen. Sayyidina wa Maulana Baig Muhammad. Wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin al-ma'sumin siyama baqiyatullah al-azam ruhi wa arwahul alamin lahul fida. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. I'm going to recap our discussion for the last 10 days we've been having. The theme and the topic of the discussion was muwasat. Muwasat is a way of life that has been encouraged by Allah, by Ahlulbait, for the Shias. And Shias, mu'mineen, who believe in Ahlulbait, must accomplish this final challenge. And this final accomplishment amongst themselves in order for the dhuhur of our Imam to take place. As we read in the hadith, when a person came to Imam Baqir alayhi salam and told him that we have many people in Kufa, your Shias, who are ready to fight for you. Why don't you rise up? So the Imam told that person or asked him, do the Shias in Kufa have this quality that any one of them can put their hands in the pocket of the other person, take out his wallet, and take as much money as they need without any problem? The man said, no, we are not like that. That we can put hands in each other's pockets and take out money, whatever we need. He said that until the Shias are not like this, the zuhur of the Imam is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Them praying a lot has nothing to do with Imam's zuhur. Them fasting has nothing to do with Imam's zuhur. Them practicing Islam has nothing to do with Imam's zuhur. Them crying for Imam Hussein has nothing to do with the zuhur of the Imam. What's going to bring about the zuhur of the Imam is when they adopt the lifestyle where they share their wealth with the rest of the Shias. And when that will happen, the Imam will rise up. He will do qiyam. So this standard that Ahlulbait have set, this criteria that Ahlulbait have set is very clear as to what is expected of us. Now, the root of this issue goes to infaq. Infaq, that is mentioned in the Quran many times and has been encouraged all the time. Infaq is a general word that is used for any type of giving, like sadaqah, like zakat, like khums, like helping, anything where you were giving, not just money, but anything else. When you give support, moral support, any sort of giving is called infaq. And infaq is the root of muwasat. That's where it comes from. This is the root, that the spirit of giving and the ability to do infaq. This is very important for everyone, because as we read in hadith about the condemnation of people who are bakhil, who are stingy, who are unable to part with what they have. And this inability to part with what you have is the reason of our downfall. When we are unable to part, not just, here it's very important to understand, when we want to part with something, we shouldn't part with it with an attitude. Yeah, okay, you know what, I have to give it anyway. What can we do? Too bad. No, this parting has to be with happiness and pleasure. This has to be given with pleasure. It is a attitude that mu'mineen have. Allah, He speaks about it in the Quran, where He says that when Allah and the Messenger, they ask the mu'mineen to do something, when they do it, there should not be any haraj in their hearts when they do it. Haraj means bother. That I'm bothered by this. I don't like it, but since they asked me, I'm going to do it. No. There has to be complete submission, complete happiness. Alhamdulillah, they asked for this. Let me go and help. Let me go and give it. Finish. That should be how we are when it comes to accepting the command of Ahlulbait. We should go to it happily, smiling. Yes, I want to do this. I would be the first one to volunteer. That's the attitude to have when they ask you for this. So, the root of muwasat is in infaq. And this infaq is what we need to build in us. The ability to do infaq. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. From what Allah has given them, they do infaq, they give. So this is an important aspect of reaching the Imam, of the zuhur of the Imam. An important aspect of that is infaq in the shape of muwasat. In the shape of muwasat. This is necessary for anyone to get to that level, to bring the Imam back. Now, here infaq or muwasat is not just sadaqah. It's not a charity. It is not a charity. It is a way of life. We all, and if it's not we all, maybe like 5, 6 friends, 10 friends, you can start there. And make a pact with yourself that, you know what, we will live a lifestyle like this. That we pool our resources together and help each other to grow. Now, others are doing this. There are other sects or so-called sects that are doing this. For example, there's a sect by the name of Ismailis, or you can say these type of people, Bohras or these things. You will see that they have a system where they pool their resources together and they they help each other to make sure that no one falls. This is exactly what the Imams are telling us to do. They are telling, this is called muwasat. Muwasat, this is exactly what they're telling us to do. So it's not something new that is happening. Rasulullah did it after Hijrat. He made the people, Ansar and Muhajir, share their wealth, their households, their properties, and created a brotherhood, a pact between them that they would share their wealth and help each other. And this is something that has to be done in us also in order for the zuhur of the Imam. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. All right, let me read this ayat for you, and it goes into detail regarding this Surah Muhammad, that is chapter 47, ayat number 36 to 38. It says, إِنَّمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا لَعِبٌ وَلَهْوٌ. The life of this world is a game. It's a game and just a play, not to be taken seriously. وَإِن تُؤْمِنُوا وَتَتَّقُوا يُؤْتِكُمْ أُجُورَكُمْ وَلَا يَسْأَلُكُمْ أَمْوَالُكُمْ. He said that if you believe and have taqwa and protect yourself against evil, He will give you your rewards. Your ajr is going to come to you and will not ask you for anything to give. Allah is saying He will not ask you. Allah doesn't need your money. Allah does not need your money. Remember this clearly. We know that. We know it about Allah, but the Imams also don't need your money. The Imams do not need our money. They have no use for our money. Remember this here, and the hadith that I read, that anyone who thinks that the Imams need money, they are kafir. فَهُوَ kafir. Anyone who thinks that the Imams need our money, they are kafir. They need to look at their faith, that they have no faith. So what happens, this ayah says, then Allah says, وَإِن يَسْأَلُكُمْ إِن يَسْأَلْكُمُوهَا فَيُحْفِكُمْ تَبْخُلُوا وَتُخْرِجْ أَضْغَانَكُمْ. Okay, what this means is that if Allah were to ask you for some money, if Allah asks you for some money, and sometimes He does, not for us, but not for Him, but for ourselves, right? Like for example, He says, pay khums, pay zakat. So sometimes He has asked us for this. Give khums and zakat. So what happens? When He asks you for this, what do? Tabkhulu. You become bakhil. You become bakhil. How do you become bakhil? Really see this. Look at yourself and see if you have that bukhl in you. Like for example, when you want to spend on something that you like or your reputation depends on it, like a wedding or something, are you freely spending money to make sure that my reputation depends on it? You know, my izzat depends on it. So you're openly, without worrying it's going away, spending money, let's say. And when Allah says, okay, give khums or give zakat or help this movement, help the masjid, whatever. So what happens? Now you're doing all the accounts in your mind. You do. I mean, this happens to people. They do all the accounting in their mind to make sure that they don't give anything that they need or close to being in need. So with that, you see, they give to Allah in that way. And when they spend on themselves or give to their wives or anything else, you see, they spend it on this way. My friends, this is a sign of bukhl in us. Bukhl means that you're afraid to spend for Allah. You're showing bukhl to Allah. To others, you're not. But to Allah, you are. And hence, this is a serious illness. It will destroy our faith. It will destroy our faith. So Allah says that if Allah asks you for money, you will show bukhl, and then that malice. Now what happens is this, right? This adghan is like having sort of bad feelings, negative feelings. It comes out. You feel like constricted inside you. I don't like it, I'm angry, It's inside you, and you feel that. You're constrained. This malice that you have, Allah says He will bring it out of you when He asks you for money. And you'll show that to you. Then Allah says, Ha antum, haula'i tud'auna litunfiqu fi sabilillah faminkum man yabkhal. He says, you are those people that when they're called upon to spend money in Allah's way, you become bakhil, you become stingy. And then he says, وَمَنْ يَبْخَلْ فَإِنَّمَا يَبْخَلْ عَنْ نَفْسِهِ. And whoever is bakhil, he is only bakhil to his soul, to his ruh. That's it. You're only hurting yourself. You're harming yourself. Wallahu al-ghani wa antum fuqara. He says, Allah is ghani, you are in need. You are faqir. Don't you know that with one incident in your life, you can lose everything? Don't you know that if I just turn one thing around, everything is gone? Everything is completely changed from your life. Look around you. Look in history. Look everywhere. Don't you see that? Really, this is Allah is giving an argument to us to discuss in our hearts so that we do not have that sort of thinking, to change our thinking. My friends, I told you at the first majlis, these majalis are meant to change our thinking for the better. It is there to do tarbiyat of our aql, not gain knowledge. We are not here to gain knowledge in these majalis. This place is not for, you'll gain some knowledge, that's fine. But that's not the purpose of these majalis. The purpose of these majalis is not to, hype up our emotions and turn on the heat. It's not about that. The purpose of these majalis is to do tarbiyat of the aql, of the intellect, to make us better thinkers. That's what it's meant for, because that will help us to go closer to Ahlulbait and Allah. That will help us by with using our knowledge in the right way. So here, what Allah is trying to do in the Quran, He's trying to raise our thinking, to think in a different way than what you are doing. And we need to accept that thinking. Accept it, use it, and then understand, wow, if I can see the world that way, it would be so much different. It will be so better than how I'm looking at this world right now. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Now, the next part of the ayat is for Shias. The next part of this ayat is for Shias now, for us. And it will explain a lot of things that are happening today in our world, in America. What all the things that parents are complaining about, that our kids are being lost, or we are lost and we don't see any hope and what's going on, all these things. Well, this ayat explains that. Your kids are lost. Allah is saying, I'll explain why those kids are lost. I'll explain these things. Okay, very good. So what does it say? It says, وَإِن تَتَوَلَّوْا. And if you are bakhil, if you are like that, if that is what you choose, if you choose not to give and not to do infaq, if you choose bukhl over infaq, good. يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. Yes, that's what Allah is doing. He's saying that if you don't do that, then I'm going to kick you and your children out of this religion. They will become kafir. And I will replace them with some other people who will give and who will not do bukhl. What's happening right now, my friends, in America is Allah is kicking out these people out of His religion. Yes. Remember one thing, whenever Allah wants good for a people, He brings to them a good wali. In our sense, it will be a good alim, sincere alim. When Allah wants to get rid of someone, He's going to get him a charlatan. Yes, popular, big name, all these things. That's how Allah says, all right, you know what? The charlatan is going to come and he's going to drive you all to hell. And you'll be happily going there in the name of Imam Ali, in the name of Imam Hussein. That's what Allah does. Right? I mean, He's not going to hit them some kafir who's on drugs. No, He's just going to get them someone in an Islamic disguise. And that's it. They will be thinking this is the way everyone is lost. That's what happens, my friends. Allah is saying this. You are not ready to spend for Allah. You are not ready to listen to Allah. You are not ready to respect His laws and to respect His deen. So Allah is saying, you know what? I'll slowly move you out with respect. Respectfully, I'll turn you out. You're just like Imam Hussein did to so many people I told you about. Yeah, they won't be disrespectful. Allah is never disrespectful in that way. The Imams are not also disrespectful. They will happily do this. How does Imam Hussein kick you out? How does Imam Hussein remove you? Imam Hussein, the minute he answers your dua, he's kicking you out. You ask a dua from him, you ask him for something, the minute he gives it to you, it means, please take this and go away. Be happy now. Live a good life. Live a good life. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I want to be with those people, and we have a goal to reach of giving our life for Allah. You are happy with this? Go ahead. Take it and go. That's what happens. That's how Imam Hussein does it. That's how the Imams do it. Those who want close to them are people who are not looking for anything except for shahadat. Are you looking for shahadat? Are you looking for this? Then you are with me all the way. If you're looking for anything else here, take it. I will give it. And inshallah, if you make dua again, I will answer it for you. Don't worry, I'll be fine. But live your own life. Go and be happy with your life. That's how it is, my friends. It's very clear. That's how it is. We don't want to be like that, do we? We don't want to be the people that Imam Hussein says, inshallah, thank you for coming and participating. I hope you have a good life. We don't want to be like that. It will be very disastrous for us not to have that. We will live in regret all our lives. In Akhirat also. The issue is not about Jannah. The issue is about regret. I mean, really, there is heaven for people, for example, who didn't stand with Hussein and who left. Imam Hussein himself says, go away. So, okay, Imam Hussein said, I followed his orders and I left. So you think he's going to go to hell? No, he's not going to go to hell. He's going to go to Jannat. He's going to Jannat. The person is going to, Imam Hussein said so. He said, I'm assuring you of Jannah. No one's going to take that away from you. You can go. And he left. So he's going to get Jannat. But tell me, how will that person be able to face Bibi Fatima in Jannat? How can he face him? Face her, you know? She's like looking and you're like, I left your son to die, to be killed. Friends, there's regret that's going to be there. So we don't want that. The idea of these Muharram is to raise, to want excellence, to be great. This is the idea. Don't settle for anything less than great. Don't settle for anything mediocre. Always want the best. The Islam choose the best path. You know, oh, there's a loophole here, you know, we can do this, it's jaiz. No, I don't want that jaiz. I want what Imam Ali wants. I want what Amir al-Mu'minin is doing. I want his practice. I want his approach to deen. This is the success, my friends. I'm telling you, we have to get ourselves to that. I don't want second best. Make it and make that a practice of our life. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So there's encouragement, my friends, for us as Shias to come together, become a community, become very close to each other. Now let me read a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He says, وَيَحِكُّ عَلَى الْمُسْلِمِينَ الْإِجْتِهَادِ. He said that Muslims should strive for what? Fit tawasul wa ta'awan. They should strive for helping each other and connecting with each other. Meaning that having a bond, a connection with each other and helping each other. Ala ta'atuf wal muwasat. In a way that you have adopted this practice of muwasat in yourself. Muwasat of sharing your wealth, helping each other, being there for each other. If someone falls down, everyone comes forward to pick them up. So that support is there in the community. The support is there amongst the Shias. This is how they should be. Imam is saying, ba'dihim ala ba'd, hatta hakuna kama amarakum Allah azza wa jal rahma'u bainakum. They should be like this to the extent that they become what Allah says in the Quran, rahma'u bainahum. That they are merciful, compassionate to each other, loving each other, having compassion for each other. If someone is hurt, for example, it goes on and says, mutarahimina muhtammina lima ghaba ankum min amrihim. And he goes on to say that if one person is not here or something happens, we should feel sad. What happened? There should be that worry. The sadness is there amongst us. Just like he says, he goes on to say, just like Rasulullah made the people in Medina share their wealth when they are together. Ansar and Muhajirin. He let them share. He says, share your wealth. Come together. Come together like that. This is brotherhood. This is what's expected of those people who are going to be helpers of Imam Mahdi. Ajalallahu ta'ala farajah. All right. So building this culture And this way of life, really, this is what we want. And it starts with the spirit of giving. Learn to give better as an individual. Then you see when many people are like that, then they are going to naturally come towards each other to build a culture, a way of life of doing things. My friends, the lifestyle that we are exposed to in America is completely opposite the lifestyle that Allah and Ahlulbait want. When you look at the lifestyle here, you'll see that the lifestyle is based on selfishness. And the lifestyle that Allah and Ahlulbait want is based on selflessness. That we are not looking after ourselves, we're looking after everyone else. But the root of it is selfishness. But here, selfishness is in the negative meaning. That no, I want it for myself, even if that other person, dies in front of me, hungry. I will watch him in the newsreel while eating my sandwich. That's how it is. It's just, the idea of animalistic is so real. Allama Baig refers to this lifestyle in the West as an animalistic lifestyle, like animals live. A dog-eat-dog world. Just everyone after his own self, looking after their own interest. The lifestyle here is based on savings. Everyone is trying to save, accumulate, amass wealth. And the lifestyle that Allah wants and Islam wants is on giving. Giving everything away from you. All of these things, no savings. I'm sorry. If you have savings, what can I say? Qambar was a slave of Imam Ali. Qambar. And Imam Ali was thinking about certain things. He was a little bit, not worried, but he was thinking. He was in a thinking mode. Imam Ali sometimes used to go and pensive one. Qambar knows that. So Qambar thought that, I will help my Mawla. I will help my Mawla. And so he brought a sack of money. What he saved up, poor guy. How much can he save? Whatever he could save up, he was saving it up. He brought this money and he said, Mawla, if you can use this money for whatever is needed, I'll be happy for you to have it. Qambar obviously is thinking that, mashallah, I'm going to help my master and, give it to him. Very good. Imam Ali looks at that and says, where did you get this from? Where did you get it from? He said, I was saving it. I was saving this money. Imam Ali says, what were you thinking when you were saving this money? You know that every extra money you have is the right of other people? And if you save it, then you are stealing their right? You are a ghasib right now. You're saving money? You're a ghasib right now. There are other people whose haqq is there on that. Immediately go and give it to those who are poor right now. And he went, he gave it. Spread it out. Just that little bit, this guy saved, and he came to help him. My mom said, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works, my friends. We are programmed so un-Islamically living here. Completely un-Islamic lifestyle. It is very far that a person like that can ever go and help the Imam or even stand with him anywhere close. That's why when we look at this, there are a lot of steps to take in our lives. so that this lifestyle that we have can change into a lifestyle that makes us grow inside, not just defeats us, defeats our rule, and we think that we are happy. You're not trusting Allah, you're trusting the money that you have. Get rid of the money, then tawakkul will start. How can you have tawakkul in Allah when you have, I don't know, everything else saved up, this and that? It's all there, but Allah still trusts you. This is not trusting Allah at all. It has nothing to do with growth. It is negative. It's going to hurt you. It's really going to hurt you. Think about it deeply. Your sleep at night should not be because, you know what, I'm okay for the next 5-6 months. I have enough money for that. That should not be why we have, sleep at night. Our sleep at night should be knowing that there's Allah. Allah, you're there tonight and you're there tomorrow. That's fine. Everything is fine. Now I can relax. That is how we should be sleeping. With that yaqeen and with that faith. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Here the lifestyle is about, and you can see this. A person's life is gauged by what he has. How successful a man is based on how much wealth he amassed. And then as you see, when they analyze someone's life, the bottom line is what? What's his net worth? So when they see their net worth, what they're saying, this is how successful he was. He did good for himself. He's successful. I mean, this is the most disgraceful, humiliating. I mean, any sort of words you want to use that are bad, you can use it. Disgusting way of looking at a person. But they do it with pride. And that's how bad it is now. My friends, that's not how you look at a person's worth. That how much wealth he amassed. Well, how do you look at it? Well, Imam Ali said, here's how you look at a person's worth. He says that a person's worth is ma yuhsinu, what he gives. Ihsan is to give, not what he gets, but the value of a person. Qimatu kulli imra'in ma yuhsinu. The value of every man is in what he gives. How much ihsan he does. That's his value. Not the value of how much he gets and amasses. That has no value. That has zero value for a human being. What has value is that when you get it, what did you do with it? That's where the value comes in. Yes, my friend. Again, lifestyles are different. The lifestyle in the West that we are exposed to is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. It's teaching our children to look at themselves that way. How successful I am? Well, I have this job, I have this degree, I have this money, I have this house. Really? Is that what makes you you? That is, it has nothing to do with you. You're going to leave all this behind. Why are you gauging yourself based on these things? That's not how we gauge we gauge a person's value by what he has given. What he has given. Look at the Imam's life. How many mansions do they have? How many mansions do they have? They all lived in really simple, down-to-earth homes, which is the average of the average, maybe even below average. They lived in those homes, and that's how they live. But now what happens? After they die, then the love that people had for their character build mansions for them. The haram of the Imams is really completely different than what the Imams wear. But the Imams never built the haram. It's the people who did it in love of the Imams. Imams were living in simple life. So what was their greatness? Their greatness was giving. They gave everything. Imam Ali did muwasat with Rasulullah on the night of Hijrat. On the night of Hijrat, Laylatul Hijrah, what did Imam Ali do? He did muwasat. He gave himself up. He spent himself for Rasulullah. Rasulullah, I am yours. I am yours to spend. Tell me, how do you want to spend me? What do you want to do with me? Tell me. I'll do whatever you say. I am yours. This is called muwasat. Being in someone's way that, you tell me what to do. And Rasulullah says, sleep on the bed. He says, all right, I'll sleep on the bed. Now, my friends, this was not easy. I'll tell you why it's not easy, If Rasulullah said, lie down in my bed under the blankets, that would be something, okay, we can all of us do. But Rasulullah said, sleep on my bed. Imam Ali accepted it. So now, Imam Ali, you have to sleep. You have to go to sleep with all the swords around you. You know that, right? You're not just lying down. Rasulullah didn't say, lie down. He says, go to sleep. Imam Ali went to sleep in that bed, knowing that he could be killed in his sleep. This, my friends, is someone who's doing muwasat. That is what we are talking about. Muwasat is what? Really, I am not mine, I'm yours. You tell me what to do now. And if I die in your way, you used it the way you used it. You used it the way you used it. That's it. I'm happy. La ilaha illallah. My friends, we are moving towards this Islamic civilization, and for that we need to adopt these thinking, these habits. Don't let this go by. I am just saying these things to you so that you know it, that it exists, and that it's there. And hopefully, eventually, sometimes you have a chance to think how I can implement this in my life. How I can do this in my life. So that we know this. I don't know if this was ever talked about, I never, because as I said, that this Muharram, especially Muharram, is a time where we need to actually challenge our minds and want the best for ourselves. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. My friends, having a relationship with Shias, meaning with the Imam, doesn't make you a Shia. Do you know that? If you love Imam Ali, that doesn't make you a great Shia. Meaning if you, let's say, like Imam Hussein and say Hussein, that doesn't make you a Shia. You know what actually starts making you a Shia? When you start loving the Shias of the Imam. Then you start becoming a Shia. When you start loving the Shias of the Imam. You are a Shia of the Imam? You love Imam Hussein? Wow. Then I love you. I am drawn to you in love. This is how it is. A group of men came to Imam Raza alayhi salam. And he was walking in a garden. And as he was walking in a garden, they came to him, and and he said, "Who is it?" And they said that Nahnu Shiatuka, we are your Shias. Imam Raza just looked at them up and down. He says, "No, you're not. You're not my Shias. You're not my Shias." He said, "Oh." Of course we are Shia. I mean, what else can we be? You know, we are self-proclaimed Shias, you know. And we say that, that's how we are. So the Imam said, you're not my Shias. You don't even look like my Shias. You don't look like my Shias. You know, and then he describes how Shias look, but those signs are not in them. He says, you know, you're not those people. Tell me who you are. We thought you were Shia. What can we be? What can we be, you know? He says, say that you like me. You admire me. You admire me and you like us, Ahlulbait. Okay, then we are those who like you. We are those who like you. Okay, so which group of people are you from amongst our people who like? How many groups are there? Imam said, there are many people who like us. There are many people who admire us. You are one of them. You know, way far away. That's the way it is. My friends, being a Shia, why? Because if you're a Shia, you had different qualities in you. And one of those qualities is that you love and respect our other Shias. You will have that for them. You can't be a Shia who just says, I love Imam Hussein, I love this, I love that. Imam Hussein, you know, there are many people who claim that. Go ahead. Go on. No. How much do you love our Shias? It's the same way, my friends, you know, that, for example, those who say that, I love Allah only. Well, how about Allah's wali? Do you love him? Hey, no, I love Allah. Allah is saying, listen, that claim is going where? It's to the hellfire. You know, that's what he told Shaitan, right? Allah says, Shaitan said, I love you. I'm worshipping you. What more do you want? No, you need to respect my wali. Allah, don't ask me to do that. You see, that's where the lock comes in. The lock comes in there. And when that lock comes in there, then it means that we are not who we claim. My friends, in order for us to be a Shia of the Imams, we need to have love and respect for other Shias. We need to have that brotherhood, ukhuwat. Then we can call ourselves Shias. And this is what the Imam is expecting for his zuhur. That's it, my friends. This is, in short, that speech. Anyone who wants to break that down or speaks against that, you know, says that, you know what, no, I am, for example, in this clique, you're in that clique. I am pro-wilayat, I am pro-Sistani, I am pro this, I am pro that. You tell him, bro, we have no time for this, thank you. Which Imam told you to do that? Which hadith tells you to do that and think in that way? Tell me, where did you get this ideas from? Where did you get this from? Did the Imams tell you that? All the ayat and hadiths we read, you see the Imams are encouraging their followers to be holding on tight to each other. Let me say one thing, and that's it, my friends, in regards to this importance of keeping this ummah together. Keeping this ummah together. One story I'll tell you and you will understand it. Send a salawat. When Musa went to Allah, to meet Allah, he said he's going for 30 days, right? Then Allah asked him to stay for 10 days. Now in those days, they didn't have emails or phones that he can call back his people and say, hey, I'll be 10 days late, all right? That Allah is asking me to say that. So the people didn't know that Musa is gone for 10 more days. When the 31st day came, so somebody said, hey, listen, Musa is a prophet. He can't lie. He said 30 days, it's 31, so it means he's dead. He can't lie. So let's do this. Let's, do the second best thing that we can. Okay, what is that? Let's make a cow with gold and worship it. So the second best thing they have to Allah is a cow made of gold and to worship it. Right? Okay, so they started worshiping this cow. And you know what happened. And in only 10 days, these people were having a party. When Musa left them, they're all reciting du'as together. When he's coming back, it's a nightclub. They're like, what the heck is going on? Musa looks at that. I mean, he left the people in the masjid, and look what they did to the community, right? In 10 days' time, they went from being like all of this, seeing emojis, they witnessing one, being a part of one and everything, and they came here, and then all of a sudden all this happens. So Musa, you can understand how angry he is. He's like really upset. So he puts the blame on his brother Harun, who he had left in charge. He left Harun in charge. So he went to Harun, pulled his beard, and angrily asked him, why did you let this happen? Why didn't you say something about it? You all know that. Why didn't you say something about it? So Harun just said one thing. And when he said that one thing, Musa let go. He understood. He calmed down. He said, all right, I accept what you say. You know what Harun said? He says that the reason I didn't say anything is because I was afraid. I was afraid that if I say something, there's ignorance, there's jahl, there's kufr, there's shirk, all those things going on in the community. He said, but if I said something, I was afraid that they will divide. That they will divide. And when Musa heard that, he says, okay, that's fine. So in other words, shirk is acceptable. Division is not acceptable. Kufr is acceptable. Division is not acceptable. Jahl is acceptable. Division is not acceptable. Harun is saying that I did not want to say anything to divide them. If other Shias have bad habits that we don't agree with, fine. But don't raise the issue if you know that this is going to create a division. Why don't you think that the ulama don't speak about hot issues? Why don't you think that they are, for example, you think they're afraid? My friends, they're not afraid. They're saying the same thing that Harun is saying. That we don't want to raise an issue that will cause division in the Shias. We will wait for something who is of a higher pay grade than we are, that when he will come here, he will sort all these things out. As long as this ummah stays together. This is Allah's example in the Quran. This is what we have to do. And this is what's happening in the world right now. What is needed right now for us Shias everywhere is just to calm down with whatever ignorance that you don't agree with the other party is doing. You know, some people disagree with, oh, these people are bleeding and doing this, this and that. And some people are saying that these are Wahhabis. And whatever it is. But just calm down. Imam's not here. When the Imam will come, he will put everything right. He will put everything right. That's it. He will bring all of us together. But we should not be the ones creating those divisions and saying that, you know what, you're a different sect, I'm a different sect now. Oh, you're not a different sect. You are the same person who is crying for Imam Hussein. You're the same person who believes in Imam Mahdi. You're the same person that Bibi Fatima is making dua for. Why should I create these things? And that's the reason, my friends, our main goal is not just that. Our main goal is muwasat, to get there. That's it, my friends. Inshallah, just a few things I will say and we are done. You know, the Majlis after Ashura is basically there for to commemorate the dafan and the tadfeen of Ahlulbait. The Masaib of Karbala, they started from Ashura. They started from Ashura until those men. You know, Ashura happened, Sham-e Ghariba happened. MashaAllah, you all did that. And Sham-e Ghariba, I saw people were tired, and you went home and you slept, MashaAllah, you know. But, you know, someone was not sleeping even after Sham-e Ghariba. We went to sleep on Sham-e Ghariba. We went to our home and we did this. But you know what? Bibi Zainab was still awake. She was awake. Yes. It was hard. Really. We were tired. I mean, when you're tired, you just want at least a nap. Let me just take a nap. There was no sleep for her. And from then onwards, you will see that where is the sleep for Ahlulbait? A person says that he wrote it, you know, he was in the time of Imam Baqir, and when Imam Baqir was at Hajj, so they saw this one person there, and this person was holding the cloth of the Kaaba, and he was like crying intensely, asking for istighfar. Allah, please forgive me. Allah, please forgive me. Allah, please forgive me, you know. And then, you know, they saw him crying and begging, I mean, really begging for forgiveness. And then at the same time as he's asking for forgiveness, he's saying, Allah, I know for sure you're not going to forgive me. I know for sure that you're not going to forgive me. They're like, what's the problem here? You know, I mean, you're asking Allah for forgiveness. He is Ghaffar. You know, he forgives everyone. Why are you saying that? So they went and asked him, why are you saying that? He said, because I know he's not going to forgive me. Because I've done something that I know he's not going to forgive me. He said, what did you do that you're saying such things? He says that when the army left Karbala, it was 3 days before Imam Hussein was buried. 3 days before Imam Hussein was buried. The next night, I had gone in the battlefield to see if I can find something to take. I went in the battlefield to see if I can find something to take. I was looking, different things, and I was standing on the leg of a body. The leg was there, and I was standing and looking around to see if I could find someone. I heard some people come, and I got scared. So I immediately went and hid behind some of the bodies so that they don't see me. And I saw it's a group of people who are coming. I didn't know who they were, but they came to the body that I was standing on. They came to that body, and the first one said, I am your grandfather, Hussein. I have come to meet you. I am your grandfather. And from behind him, someone came and said, Hussein, I am your father Ali. I am your father Ali. Then next one came out and said, I am Hamza, your uncle. And then Jafar at-Tayyar. When he saw these four men there, then from behind them came a lady. Behind them came a lady. He says, Hussein, what did they do to you, Hussein? What did they do to you, Hussein? And she came there and says, did they give you water before you died? My friends, you know why this is so important? You will see that when Imam Sajjad also made the grave of Imam Hussain, he didn't say that this is Hussain who died Gharib. He didn't say that this is Hussain who died Musafir. You know what he wrote that? This is Hussain who died Achana. You know why Imam Sajjad wrote that there? Because you need to know this. From childhood, Imam Hussain had the problem of being thirsty very fast. From childhood, he had that problem that he would be thirsty very fast. Everyone in his family they knew about that. And that's why even Bibi Fatima said, she came to Rasulullah when Imam Hussain was in her womb. She said, Father, this child talks to me, Father. He says, what does he say? He says, Ana Achana. From the womb, Imam Hussain was saying to Bibi Fatima, I'm thirsty. From that time, everyone knew that Hussain was thirsty. That's why everyone used to take care of him, to make sure he gets water, But what can we do? This is Allah's test. Allah put the test of thirst for Imam Hussain. When Bibi Fatima is by Imam Hussain, she says, did they give you water before you died, Hussain? And then she started to say, how did they kill you? Look what they have done to you. They have mixed you with the sand. Hussain, what have they done to you? She started to say these things. And then he says, that man, Rasulullah, then he says, Hussain, what happened to your fingers? Who cut your fingers? And then Rasulullah, he said, look directly into my eyes. He says, did you cut Hussein's fingers? La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. You know, it was the third day when Bani Asad came out. And they came out with tools because Hussain has asked them, he begged them to bury me. He said, okay, we will come out. They came out on the third. When they came out to bury, they were looking at all the dead bodies there lying there. But they had one difficulty. All of them were beheaded. They didn't know whose body is who. They didn't know the names. They didn't know any of these things. So what happened is that as they were confused, they saw someone riding from Kufa coming towards Karbala. And they got afraid that this might be someone from the government who's coming. So they started to pack up and go. And then the voice came from that man. He says, stop where you are. I need your help. They came. When he came, they asked him who you are. He says, I am the waris of these dead bodies. Allah had sent Imam Sajjad to bury Imam Hussain. You know, only an Imam can bury an Imam. Imam Sajjad came there. In Kufa, they were looking at Imam Sajjad standing there. They didn't know he is gone. But Allah made Imam Sajjad come here. When Imam Sajjad came here, he said, I will tell you where to put these bodies. He said, make this grave. They made the grave. And one big grave, and then Imam Sajjad, one by one, asked them to put these bodies in a line. They lined up the bodies in one mass grave, which is, as you know, Ganje Shahidan, Ganje Shoda. They put the bodies there. For each and every one, Imam Sajjad took their name and says, this is the body of this person. This is the body of this person. They started doing that, and then they made that grave. After they made the grave, then they came to Imam Hussain, and he said, make one grave at the head, one grave at the foot. They said they started making the grave, and then at the foot of the grave, he put his brother, Ali Akbar. And when he put him there, he said, "Congratulations, brother. Now you'll be the neighbor of our father." You'll be our father's neighbor here. And then he put Imam Hussein and said, "Father, your son has come here to put you in the grave." And as he was doing that, then he said, "Listen, bring that one small body here, the body of that baby." He said, "That is going to go on the chest of Imam Hussein." When he put it there, they made the graves. They put the graves. As they were putting the graves, there many things had happened. What can I say? Well, let me say this. One person asked Imam Sajjad, when he saw Imam Hussein's body, he saw Imam Sajjad and says, "This body has all these markings and these injuries and these wounds and all this bleeding and all that. But there's some marking on the shoulder that were not new. They were old." He says, "What are those marks over there?" Was Hussein hurt before this? Did anyone hurt Hussein before this on the shoulder? There were scratches there. There were deep scratches over there. He said, "No, these are not from anyone's beating. This is when Hussein used to take sacks of food for poor people." These marks are from those sacks that he used to carry. And then when they put Imam Hussein in the grave and they carried it, now everyone said, "Alhamdulillah, we buried all the graves." And then Zainul Abidin, Imam Sajjad said, "No, there's one more grave to bury." He says, "Where is that?" He says, "That's by the river." When they came to the river, they saw the body of Abbas. Imam Sajjad said, "Build his grave here." But what kind of grave would it build? Because his body is not in one piece. Because when Hussein left him, they were cutting off the pieces of his body. Irba'an irba. Cutting them into pieces. They made a small grave there for Abbas, put all the parts of his body inside there. And then he started to cry on the grave of Abbas. He says, "Abbas, where are you, Abbas? If you see what is happening to Zainab. Where did they take Zainab? Did you know that they put ropes on the hands of Zainab?" سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. يا محمود بحق محمد، يا الله بحق علي، يا فاطر السماوات بحق فاطمة، يا محسن بحق حسن، يا قديم الحسان بحق حسين. Allah, give us the tawfiq to be on the right path. Give us the wisdom to understand your guidance. Hasten the reappearance of our Imam. Make us his helper when he comes. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Matem Hussein.